Okay guys, I have a confession to make. Some of these videos have been straight ass. I don't think I've put out any bad videos since January, but I'm the one making them, so I'm not gonna be trustworthy. But before January, it was the Wild West out here. I was dropping essays, I was dropping commentaries, Elden Ring gameplay. There was no structure to any of this. But in all that chaos, there was one video. It was also ass. But the reason why I bring up this video is because it was the first video I unreleased ever because it was that bad. I've had bad videos before, but this video genuinely taught me that there's levels to this shit. And so since we're doing our 52 videos for the year thing and I ran out of ideas, I'm gonna be remaking my worst video. Across the Spider-Verse is probably my favorite animated movie. And you can call me a recency bias merchant if you want to, but it's probably the most well-made animated movie ever. Sure, Across the Spider-Verse doesn't have the realistic panic attack in the movie, but you know what it does got? It has everything. Cool characters, not you, dope soundtrack, amazing animation, the list goes on. My favorite thing about this movie though, is that even the voice actor for Miles Morales has zero game with the ladies. So it actually inspires me to believe that one day, I too can become Spider-Man.
It's easier to be Miles flirting with Gwen when I'm looking at Haley.
You're looking at her, right?
But there's always a question, especially with superhero movies, how good can a movie really be without an amazing antagonist? Stylistically, Across the Spider-Verse, and really the Spider-Verse as a franchise, has some of the most unique looks I've ever seen in animated movies. Everybody in this movie just has so much sauce and such cool designs, so much exaggerated swagger. And since everybody has such cool designs, it makes sense for that to carry over to the main villain. But Spot's design is actually interesting. Spot has a cool design later in the movie, but kind of in the beginning when he's introduced, he's just weird. Like, his design is weird. It's non-threatening. He just seems like some goober nobody's gonna take seriously, which, interestingly enough, is a big part of his beef with Miles. It reminds me a lot of when we were talking about the Riddler in my Batman video, and how the Riddler was always associated with this corny, Redditor, nerdy build, and then in the Batman, they turned him into the Zodiac Killer. Spot shares a lot of similarities with the Riddler. Spot is like really hunched over in the beginning of the movie. He's kind of built like young Sheldon a little bit. There's just nothing about him that really screams out, "You scare me, you're gonna kill my dad." What popped into my head when I would see Spot is I'm like, I gotta give this guy a swirly. Spider-Man gotta give him a swirly. I'm Spider-Man. And from a narrative perspective, I kind of like that, because a huge part of Spot's whole thing is that he's not really taken seriously as a villain. Have no idea why he'd want to be. You have the sickest powers ever. Just go do some fun shit. I don't know. It isn't really until later in the movie when he gets a higher grasp on his powers, and then he also gets that Zenkai boost that turned him into King Von, that his design went from unthreatening but weird to, can somebody like call the Punisher or something? I know I'm the cornball guy who always talks about, oh, the narrative, but from a narrative perspective, I thought it was very cool because a big part of his beef early in the movie was that he's not really seen as a human anymore because he looks the way he looks. Like, that's not a suit, that's him, that's his body. And to be honest, I kind of like villains like that where their motivations are getting back to where they were before. Villains like that, you can sympathize with them because who the fuck wants to look like the dog from 101 Dalmatians, you know? Having a villain with motives you can sympathize with makes a more interesting story. There is another part of Spot that makes him such a dope villain for Spider-Verse, and it's the fact that he's a bit of a trickster, he's a bit of a jokester. He loves to go tell Miles, hey, what's the deal with airline food? Also, I'm gonna kill your dad. You know what I was thinking about recently? I was thinking about how so many villains are written to be like, ooh, I'm crazy, I crack jokes because I'm crazy and evil, but like, they're never funny. I don't know how I feel about villains who like to crack jokes while they fight. All I can remember is Freddy Krueger, and all he would do is crack jokes during his whole thing. I don't know, I feel like I can't take you seriously anymore. I feel like I'm fighting Jim Carrey at that point. Spot actually is funny though. Spot's not trying to be funny, he's just so goofy in the beginning of the movie and can't do anything that he himself is the butt of the joke. This is a guy who can travel between any dimension he wants to, can kill people at will, he can do crazy stuff, and then he lost in a fight to the owner of the bodega. Like, what are we doing here? Spot being so funny is actually such a great setup because here's this goofy guy in the beginning of the movie who is losing to a baseball bat, and then kind of near the end he goes from being funny to being just like straight malicious. Like, he was joking about seeing Miles back home. He's gonna go kill kill his dad. I think Spot being so funny early in the movie was so great for the story because it really influences my opinion on his character design. You know, in the beginning, he's this goofy, like hunched over nerd loser. I'm kind of frying his ass, my fault. And he loses to everything, even his own powers. He has no control over them. And then later, as he starts getting stronger and stronger, he's getting more malicious and less funny. You know, I think a lot about villains being funny, and I think villains being funny in of itself isn't scary. I think it's villains who don't take shit seriously scary. Like villains who look at everything as some big joke. I know I'm kind of being a cornball right now, but villains who kind of look at everything as some big joke, none of this shit matters, that's low-key very scary, especially when you have fourth dimensional powers like Spot does. It's the most busted dude ever. Spider-Man shoots webs. What is he gonna do realistically? It takes really good writing to make a character like Spot not seem corny. It's very easy to take a villain who, oh, I don't care about anything, everything's a big joke to me, and then they're super duper corny. They're like Jared Leto Joker. Spot is not corny. When Spot said, I'll see you back home, Spider-Man, I deadass wanted to leave my house. Spot's whole thing is that he wanted to be taken seriously, which is such interesting motivation for a character that is so unintentionally hilarious. And I kind of think in some small way, Spot never really changed. Like, he always had that unintentionality with his comedy, but he just became so frightening from an outer perspective that I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, bro. I'm not worried about no jokes he's telling. I'm calling Dr. Doom right now. Across the Spider-Verse is probably top 5 movies for me ever. For all you cinema heads out there, I'm sorry my favorite movie isn't some 1935 black and white French art piece about a snail who tries to kill himself. I really like this movie. I think it's a dope movie. And this movie is made so much better with the inclusion of Spot. I don't know who was in charge of writing his character and making his design, but I think from every area, he is perfect. His design so perfectly influences his character, and his character so perfectly influences his design. This really goofy guy who can't help but be the butt of the joke is also built super weird, and like, yo, I'm frying him right now, my fault. I'm gonna edit that out. But you know what I mean, right? This guy is unintentionally the butt of the joke, and he looks goofy as hell. He's built crazy. I just can't stop doing this to him, can I? And it isn't until later in the movie when he becomes this almost frightening demon that he's still carrying that unintentional comedy, but now we don't give a fuck about that because this guy looks like he's about to kill us all. So hey, I guess he got what he wanted. Spot, buddy, I'm willing to be your henchman. I'm taking you real serious right now, buddy. I'm taking you real serious, don't worry. Also, if you can kill Miguel in the next movie, shout out to Spot. He low-key might be a hero. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope for the 65 people who saw the original video and also saw this one, that this is way better. Thanks so much. Like and subscribe, please. Share this with your friends if you have any. If you don't have any, make friends and then share this to them. Let that be your first conversation. Hey, you want to be friends? Can I show you this cool video I saw? Can you? Okay, bye guys.
Who the fuck gave you bastard?
Swear that I'm a hothead. I used to be normal and I'm missing one of drop dead. Every day begins around